Okay, so this is the last video for the day, and this is just going over parts 2, 3, and 4 of the final essay. So I'm going to go ahead quickly and share my screen. Okay, so you already have a video where we kind of went over introduction strategies. We kind of talked about the prompt. We gave sample outlines. So this is one way to approach it. Maybe my first paragraph is going to do this. My second paragraph is going to do this. My third paragraph always is going to end with a statement of the problem, the two articles that you'll summarize, and some kind of solution, right? So I'm going to scoot on down because there's a video that covers all of that, and I'm going to go to this last one. So here's this last sample outline for part 1. So my first paragraph is going to be a quote, and I'm just using the questions in the prompt to guide my writing here. And so then I'm going to talk about what I know about the problem. My paragraph 2 is why this problem is important to you or me, and maybe also why it should be important to the reader. My paragraph 3, I'm going to state my problem, state my 2 articles that I'll summarize, and then I'm going to state my solution. So your solution should be concrete. Like your solution is, if I had all the power in the world, this is how I would fix this thing. So I'm using an example from a student who his problem is gun violence in America, and this is his solution, right? So here's an example solution. To address gun violence, America needs to raise the legal age for owning a gun and implement stronger mental health checks. That's it. That's a solution. That works for me. That's perfectly fine. It's clear. I have a sense of what he wants to talk about, and he also gives himself enough room to write. So part 2, I'm using a summary from one of the opposing viewpoints article I looked up, right? And so I'm just going to summarize it, the overall idea. In the beginning of the article, the author states, the author continues to state, she finally says, right? So I'm using all those, I'm just summarizing it. And then paragraph 2 is the response to that article. And so that can be a little bit tricky. So the response is just, some ways to think about it was how convincing was the article, right? How convincing was the problem? Another way to approach it are what are the strong points in this article? What are the weak points, right? Another way to approach it is how does this article apply to your larger solution, to what your ideas are? Those are just some ways to do it, right? I would pick maybe 1 or 2 and kind of go with that. Part 3 is it's the same thing. It's just working on a different article, right? So I'm summarizing the article, and then I'm looking again, how convincing was the problem? What were the strong points? What were the weak points? How does this article apply to my overall argument and what I'm trying to do and the solution that I see as being like feasible and the correct solution? And then part 4. So here's a major hint in part 4. Use your solutions in part one. I should say in part 1. So use your solutions in part 1 and provide concrete details. Okay, so that means that if I go back up and I go back up into part 1, and here's my solutions. To address gun violence, America needs to raise the legal age for owning a gun and implement stronger mental health checks. Here, you gave me pretty much the outline for your part 4. So when I come down, I'm just pulling those solutions, right? So the first thing I'm going to talk about, my solution is to raise the gun age, to raise the age of owning a gun. That's going to be my first paragraph. My second paragraph is going to be those stronger mental health checks, because those are the solutions I identified at the beginning of the paper, so I have to address them. And then my third paragraph, I'm just restating the problem, restating the main points, and kind of ending with a bang. And so if you do that, and you can do it in 1, 2 paragraphs, you probably need 2 paragraphs because the part 4 has to be at least a page, like 1 to 2 pages. So if you hit it in 2 paragraphs, you should be fine. So this is the detailed outline of the whole thing. This is what we want from you, and these are some ways to approach it. I'm going to stop my share. So as always, if you have any questions or concerns, just email me. This is it. This final paper is due next week, and you also have your final exam next week, which is simply a 5-paragraph essay. Most of you can do that in your sleep at this point. I will post the reading for the 5-paragraph essay on Friday so that you have the entire weekend to go over it and annotate it, and then you'll get the question itself the following week. All right, take care, and see you guys later.